Happy Monday. I'm setting a timer. I have 15 minutes, so this will not be longer than 15 minutes. Go. 3 things by the end of this video. Ready? The very first thing is that I'm going to encourage you to go over to Homeschooling Olympians. It looks like this. So, homeschoolingolympians.com. Right up there at the top of that page is a button, blue, that says Breaking the Chains of Curriculum. When you click that, it looks like this. So let's see if it opens in, and of course it opens in another page. So once you click that link, let me stop sharing this screen and let me show you what it looks like on this other screen. It's important. And then we're going to get in by the end of this call, by the end of this. So guide, what do I want? I want the one that says guide. By the end of this, I'm going to give you one of my favorite writing tips. So when you go to homeschoolingolympians.com, you click on the blue button, you land on this page. Right there, this is the first thing I want you to do today. I want you to click apply. Now, don't freak out. What it does is it sends you to a questionnaire which will allow me to see inside your homeschool just enough so that I can encourage you specifically. And then, in order to get a tidbit from me today, a golden nugget that you can use in your homeschool, you need to reach out. So, first you apply. The best way then is to connect with me on Instagram. And I know some of you are not on Instagram, but find me at A Better Way to Homeschool on Instagram, because then we can go back and forth in the DMs over there, or shoot me an email at abetterwaytohomeschool@gmail.com. So when you're inside this application, what it gives me is it gives me the ages of your kids, what you're using for different topics, and all these little nuggets. And then it gives you this spot where you can breathe into, this is what I'm struggling with. So the very first thing is I want you to go and apply. The next thing is I want us to drop some things in the comments. If you happen to catch this live or if you catch it on the replay, I want us to list the things that you guys are struggling with in homeschool right now. What is it? Is it the connections with your kids? So I've been chatting with homeschoolers in the DMs, in private coaching, all of in our group coaching, and there are different kinds of struggles that are happening. There are, so we're here on the 3, not quite at the secret. You want to stick to the end because this is where I'm going to give you a secret tip. What are people struggling with? A lot of people are struggling with connecting with their kids. The school is in the way, and it is causing them to just argue and bargue and just wrestle with their kids about the wrong things. Okay, I'm old. My kids are big and tall and hairy because they're all men. They're beastly men. And I can tell you that there is not one academic lesson ever in our homeschool that has made a difference in helping them become champion men. None. There's not one math lesson, not one English lesson, not one history, science, art, music, nothing. What's made the difference is having that connection with our kids. So what are you struggling with? For some people, it's connecting. For some people, it is struggling with teaching their kids to read, right? But tripping over the age that kids are learning to read. What kinds of things are you guys struggling with? Is it that they don't know their math facts? Is it that you're wasting all this money on curriculum that's not a good fit for your family? A lot of people struggle with that one. Or the buyer's remorse, where you bought all this amazing curriculum, but then you don't want to use it anymore because you can see there's a better way. That's why you want to give me the details so that I can help you specifically. So share in the comments when you see this later. What are the things that you guys are struggling with? I know that people are struggling with connections. I know that people are struggling with wasting money in homeschool. I know that they're worried about, and then fill in the blank, that their kids aren't going to learn all the right things, that they're not going to get to the end of homeschool and be like, yes, this was the best decision we ever made. That's why I'm here, to help you and to encourage you. Okay, so I'm going to be circling back later to read the comments. So now let's get into a tidbit of something that I can help you do inside Homeschooling Olympians. But I want to share the golden nugget with you because you might be struggling with writing, like one of the gals that I am coaching right now in the DMs. So I thought I would come and I would chat about writing. So I'm at this point, and so many people are concerned with which language arts curriculum to use, what styles of writing their kids should learn, like essays or reports or fill in the blank, right? Creative stories. What other types of writings are there while I color this number 3 in? So there's reports, there's stories, there's essays, there's books, there's email copy, there's text messages, there's sales copy, there's all kinds of stuff. So how do you get your kid to learn to look at a blank piece of paper and turn it into something, right? Where you start with an idea and you end up with something that they're excited to share with the world. And the very first thing is that I want you to take a step back, and I'm going to draw how about a sign that says back? The first thing I want you to do is to take a step back and understand that it's not about what kind of writing that your kids are doing. That's not the point. The point of all writing is for effective communication. That's it. So if you want, and I'm going to cough just a second. If you want your kids to become excellent writers, that's not the end goal. The end goal is, and bear with me, you back up. It's not that they're excellent writers, is that they can effectively communicate on paper. They can effectively communicate over an email or written communication, right? It's important that you understand that that is the goal. So the goal of communication, as we step back, is that they can express themselves in writing. So how do you take a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old and turn them into an effective communicator by the time they graduate high school? It's not by teaching them how to write a 5-paragraph essay. I know curriculum writers would love for you to just fill up your child's day with 5-paragraph essays, but that is not the point. The point is that you fill their bucket. So I'm going to draw a bucket. You fill their bucket with ideas that they can draw upon to use in communication. So how do you fill your child's creative bucket? Any guesses? Oh, we talk about this all the time. We used to talk about this when I was a little girl, like you'd see like readers or leaders. You fill your kids' creative bucket through story by audiobooks and read alouds and picture books, and just filling their creative bucket with creative words and story. Repeating the stories over and over and over again allows their favorite books to become part of them, like best friends in their memory bank. So you take a step back, you fill their creative bucket with writing. And then I want you to notice what I'm doing. What am I doing? I've created a visual that now we're dropping ideas upon. This is brainstorming. Brainstorming is when you put something on a page or on a whiteboard, and then you ask your kids questions like, what do you know? So let's randomly pick a topic, and we will say, what do you know about monkeys? Right? And then your kids will start to say, and I'll leave it back here so that you can see, because we're talking about monkeys. And yes, my monkey made this monkey. So what do we know about monkeys? And then you start to write, well, where do monkeys live? You take the pen, you become the secretary. So I'm going to draw a pencil in my pen, because it's not the mechanics of writing that we want our kids to become masters of. We want them to become expert ideators. Isn't that a fun word? Ideators. We want them to be able to express themselves, but they need to be able to put their ideas in a chaotic way down without having to organize it, without having to write about it, without having to be an expert on it. Just get the ideas down on paper. And the surest way to stumble a reluctant writer, just looking at my timer, got 4 minutes left. The surest way to stumble a reluctant writer is to hand them a piece of paper and a pencil and say, write me a story, write me an essay, write me a paragraph, write me a poem. They'll look at the blank piece of paper and they'll be like, what? A poem about what? A story about what? Like they short circuit. Instead, you take the piece of paper, maybe doodle at something. Don't tell me you can't doodle. There's how to doodle and then put in the blank. I even have a doodle clubhouse that if you want the link, just ask me. You can doodle anything. And there are doodle coaches, doodle instructors I've actually paid for and have taken master doodle classes. And I actually have doodle cards so that if I wanted to doodle something with my kids, I've got something to copy so that I'm not overly thinking the image. But the image helps the child focus. So if we were going to be talking about monkeys, I would either draw a banana or a palm tree or a monkey. And let's see if I can actually, okay, I'm going to embarrass myself. Let's see. So a big face and big ears. It's not going to look like a monkey, and that's okay. A triangle nose and some little eyes, and then we're just going to do like this, like this, like this, and then a curly, cute tail. It looks more like a mouse than a monkey. But the coolest part is that when you draw something and you fail at it, it gives your kids permission to fail too, and they need that. So then spend a few minutes asking a bunch of questions. What do we know about monkeys? Where do they live? Do they live in the trees underground in caves? And throw out weird rant. Do they swim in the ocean? Do they wear clothes? Are they covered? How do they stay warm? Oh, they're covered in fur, right? So you just brainstorm everything you know about monkeys, and then you step back. That's it. You step back. The whole effort is to draw the image, for you to hold the pencil, and to write down everything that the kids know. And then you let it sit for at least a day. And then you come back to it and you say, wow, you guys know a lot about monkeys. But you know what? Overnight, I was thinking, I remembered this question. I'm curious about this. I'm curious about that. And you fill up the page. You want to become, if you want your kids to be expert writers, you want them to be expert brainstormers, expert pull words together, expert putting ideas on paper or on the whiteboard. From there, after you've done that 10, 15, 20 times, now you have a child that is actively working in the pre-writing stage. So important, because the putting the ideas out there now makes it less intimidating to actually then, look at how much you know. Let's color code the things that are all about where the monkey lives. Let's change colors and circle all the things that monkeys eat. And now you start to just organize the ideas. Again, that's the whole lesson. So first it's just brainstorming. Then it's brainstorming plus color coding. And then it's brainstorming, color coding, and then together workshopping something, writing a story together, writing a sentence together, writing a comic strip together, etc. But the secret of teaching your kids to write is teaching them to actually get their ideas out there. And when you hold the pen, you take away the struggle of the mechanics of it. How do you make the letter R? Is it this way or is it that way? How do you spell the word monkey? Is it Monkey or Monkey? Like, you just take that away, which allows the creative juices to flow. So that's it. That's my tip for you today. Number one, go and apply for Homeschooling Olympians, and then join me in the DMs on Instagram or in the email and give me enough information that I can give you a personalized golden nugget to use in homeschool right now. Number two, let's talk about here in the comments or in the DMs or in the inbox, right? So let's communicate. What are the things that you are struggling with homeschool right now? The reason I want you to share it here is because other homeschoolers are struggling. And so when you say, I'm struggling with connecting with my daughter, I'm struggling with connecting with my son, other people go, gosh, me too. And that's so important that people don't feel like they're alone. And then number three, as my timer goes off, is that you want to become an expert brainstorming machine with your kids. The younger they are, the better. The older they are, the more you need to do this. And I have tips and tricks that will help you move on from there. So I'll be watching for your applications to pop in so that I can look behind your curtain and then add some secret sauce, add some gold right into your homeschool journey. Can't wait to see. Talk to you guys later.